Welcome to Real Herbalism Radio, recorded at River Road Studios. Our show is brought to you by the Herbal Nerd Society. Guys, talk about the Herbal Nerd Society.
Well, we really have been enjoying having the Herbal Nerd Society as an ally to support the Practical Herbalist and Real Herbalism Radio. It's one of the wonderful ways that we can fund the work that we're doing. And people just join it for what ends up being for $49.99 a year. Mm-hmm. And that's some people are paying, looking at like monthly, that's $4.99 a month, which is nothing.
No, not even that. Yeah. Because $4.99 a month times 12 would be $60. So it's actually less than $5 a month.
Yeah, if you sign up for the year-long thing.
I mean, we're talking one latte.
Yeah, that's true.
One cup of coffee. And you have access.
With or without the banana.
Right. You have access to all of the Herbal Nerd Society articles that Sue spends a lot of time researching and writing. We have podcasts, and I think we're actually moving all the podcasts because of the Herbal Nerd Society. We're moving all the podcasts to public, and we're in the process of doing that. Mm-hmm. So thank them for being able to bring all of those podcasts. So look for all 145 or 60 or whatever podcasts available on the feed.
196.
Yeah, so they will be all available on the iTunes feed. So that's coming in the next month or so. Mm-hmm. That's a exciting thing, and that was Herbal Nerd Society. They made that possible.
Yeah. So if you want to just use that thought that you're putting some money in and you're getting a reward for it by getting some exclusive content, then that's great. And we are really happy that you're able to benefit from that. But I know, because Patrick has done the research, that a lot of people, they're just joining the society in order to support the work that we do and all of the stuff that we offer people. So, and we do a lot of work in the community as well, helping folks out and spreading the word and, just doing what we do as herbalists. And I really am grateful for that. So
yeah, in fact, as a thank you, later in the show, we're going to announce the contest winners for.
Actually, we're going to announce them right after this little moment.
Oh, here we go.
We'll make them wait.
Make them wait. Oh,
I had a list on what I was going to say, and that was my next thing. But okay, I'll wait.
Here's the difference between the parenting styles.
Yeah, get all your dessert
audience.
Now.
Yeah,
I mean, why not? So.
But okay, we got to chew through the fiber first, folks.
All right. Well, we will announce the winners of the book from Maria Noel Groves. And they Grow Your Own Herbal Remedies. So we'll do that at the end of the show.
Yes, and that is thanks to the Herbal Nerd Society.
Yes, they made that possible as well.
Yep.
All right, well, it was hiatus month. We take two hiatus months a year. This is the summer hiatus, and we do that to recharge our batteries and get out into the world of plants and herbalism and everything else. So what did you guys do during hiatus?
Sue, what were you up to?
Well, I put two articles up for the Herbal Nerd Society this month. So I know people are used to getting 4, but this time they got 2. We get a vacation too. And that was on Mullen, which we'll talk about later in the show. And then I also put up 2 articles from our guest authors. One was on using chamomile as a herbal first aid for dogs and cats. And that article has just been taking off. It's been read over and over again because so many people are really hungry for ways to help their beloved pets. And then the other one that I put up was one about warrior's plume. It's a pedicularis, and that one people are just fascinated with. And we've mentioned pedicularis several times for anxiety. And this one, the author was talking about one that is in Northern California where she lives. And I know that there's a lot of different pedicularises out there. I have a tendency to use the one that grow here in the Willamette Valley. There's a couple of different species, but the one that she was talking about is far more rare. And she was talking about its uses, but also talking about how it grows and, some ethical ways of handling that plant. And it is gorgeous. All the pedicularis in my mind are just absolutely stunning plants. So if you go to our website, you'll see both of those articles there. And look for more. I'm going to just hope from those 2 authors. They're wonderful. So Jamie and Jacqueline, I thank you for your input. And other people that have articles that they want, we'll put up some guidelines that we have for guest authors, so that when people want to share something, then they can. Now, this is a labor of love, so we're not paying people for it, but it is a really great way to get your name out there. And each of our authors have put out at least 4 references for the information that they have. And there's some other things that you'll see on our guidelines list. So I look forward to more people sharing what they have to say about herbs and holistic living, and also about homesteading, because we really like that people are more independent. I think that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, well, you were out busy working. I was out busy learning and playing. So
nice.
I got into the garden and finally planted the rue.
Oh, great. Yes, and thank you for sharing, Candace.
And it survived my planting, so that's good. And then I decided this year to try Spilanthes. And what I'm noticing is it was pretty happy until our environment started to get dry.
Yes.
And so it perks up and it looks super happy like the day after I water it. And then
and it goes,
the next day it's really, So it needs a lot of water.
Yeah.
But I've got a small tincture I started of that. And I was thinking about drying some of the flowers.
And just the aerial parts in general are great.
Yeah. So I was thinking about drying some just to see how that works as comparison. And I got Monarda finally growing in my garden.
Nice.
I've tried several times and failed several times.
Yeah.
You have to really water those plants.
You do.
It's really kind of important. So
I had this great little stand of Monarda, and I had it growing. I live by a busy street, and people walk by often. And so it was just doing great. And then I came by and saw someone I think what they tried to do is pick the flower and then completely uprooted it. So then they picked the flower parts off and then threw the not flower parts down like a couple of feet away from it. And and it had already dried by that time.
So too late to replant.
So I had some swear words to share with the people that had gone by. Please don't do that to other people. That's super rude.
That's bad. And then I planted skullcap, and it seems to be pretty happy in the little spot I put it in. So hopefully it'll survive. We'll see.
And it's that beautiful little sparkly blue that it has for its flowers. I think are really sweet.
I've been snipping off the tops before it's flowering right now. Because I've been drying it.
Sure.
So, and keeping it more bushy. And I want the roots to be really strong. So I'm kind of trying to keep it.
Good idea.
Tight. And I need to snip them Monarda, but they look close enough that in the dehydrator, I'm not sure that I would tell them apart. And I don't want to mix them up.
Yeah. So. I put little pieces of paper in there.
My dehydrator it's got like relatively large holes between the trays, so some leaves will fall to the stuff below it.
Oh, I see.
So like I did lemon verbena as well. So but lemon verbena and skullcap are different enough that even once they're dry, you can kind of tell the shape. So I can pick them apart if anything falls through. And I've got a few of those jelly roll style thingies that
those
I use.
Nice.
Yeah,
but they're expensive.
Yeah, exactly. So I just have the ones that came with the original thing. So I've got like 3 of them or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's not enough. I'm going to fill all my trays.
Would parchment paper work?
It probably would.
Is there enough air that goes up between?
I don't know. I wonder about that. I do have 2 of them that are made without the holes. Like I have 3, I think it is, with little like super tiny holes so the air goes through. Yeah. And I have 2 that are no holes at all. I don't use the 2 with no holes because to me it seems like, well, then the air's not going to go through. But I don't know. My dehydrator's not very fancy.
You got the round one?
Yeah. I mean, it's got temperature control, but that's it.
Yeah.
And even that's probably not super accurate. But.
Yeah. I got one for Christmas last year, and people can go back in time for our podcast to listen to more information about that dehydrator. It was a rectangular one. And, I love it. But it was a pretty penny.
Years ago, I had one of those. It was really nice.
That was the one that inspired me to get the one I got.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it lasted, what did that one last?
Yeah, like 2 seasons out of it, 2 or 3 seasons.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't last very long.
It wasn't, but to be fair, it wasn't that expensive.
It wasn't the $1,000 version.
I didn't get the $1,000.
No, this was about
$200 or $300.
No, not even that. It was like under $100 for it.
No, it wasn't.
Oh,
no. That one was the $200 one that I bought and didn't tell you about.
Well, no,
it was a decade ago.
Well, no, we got it because it was I'd seen it used in a commercial kitchen.
Right.
And I know that he was on a tight budget and he got it and he really loved it. And I said, geez, Candace, this looks like a really cool thing. And I know we got it. And I don't remember spending that kind of money on it. But
I know you don't, but I did. It was
like $150. It wasn't like $300-$400 because we looked at one at a store locally here that they were in the $300 to $500 range for those things.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah, I bought it on Amazon for like $200 or $300 a decade ago.
I don't remember that.
I think mine was.
Well, it should have lasted longer than 3 seasons. Sorry.
That's for sure. Yeah, knowing that now. Now he's going to be.
Now you understand why I was so angry.
Yeah.
And it didn't have a 5-year guarantee or anything like that.
No.
Shame on them. Well, the one that I picked up had a pretty good guarantee, and it's been working great.
Good.
And so anyway, go back to the. It was the January.
It was the 2018 holiday show, wasn't it? Just after Thanksgiving, where we do all the recommendations.
Well, I hadn't got it yet.
Oh, so then it would be the 2017, wouldn't it? It was one of the holiday shows.
Was it a holiday? Okay, it was. I'll find the actual one and put it in the show notes.
Because that's all we ever. When we do product dropping, it's usually during a holiday show.
Yeah, that's true.
Our 10 things we love.
But sometimes it is after. Because we do in the first
that's true. I just got this. It's amazing. Yeah. Could be January. You're right.
But we do recommend you go back over some of those other shows. And maybe if you remember, then when I post our show, then you could write a little note to us on social media, either on our Facebook page or send a little note on Instagram or Twitter. Send us a little tweet saying, "Oh, Sue, it was this particular show. I remember it very well, you dingling."
Don't say you dingling.
Don't say you dingling. I already said it, so you don't have to say it.
So besides doing the gardening stuff that I did, I also took a couple of classes. I took a webinar from KP Kulsa that was on face reading. That was really interesting.
You have to say what that is.
It's on, that one was focused on being able to look at the features of a person's face and understand some of the deeper psychological motivations they have for doing what they do or saying what they say. Or
you already know why I'm crazy, so that one.
I can't watch a movie or a television show with Candace now without her pointing out, "Oh, that's a keg, and that's why, and that's totally why they're going to be doing this." And
well, but I'm talking about the actor,
I understand.
not the character, because sometimes they don't map together very well.
But the correlation, she'll say that too. But oftentimes she's like, "Oh, well, look, they cast that person in the right spot with the right personality or the right facial structure."
I always find it fascinating when they cast, because I do look at their hands too. A lot of times you'll see actors' hands.
Oh, I really notice hands.
And I find it really fascinating when you see someone who's got like a headline that's just straight and they're playing a creative character. Like they're playing an artist. And you're like, no. And the artist they're playing is not like a technical artist.
It's you're looking at the lines of the hands.
Lines.
I look at fingers and face. I got this weird thing about thumbs too.
I do that too. But
that's what we call a fetish.
My daughter and I have the same thing. We were watching some movie and you saw the actor reach for something and both my daughter and I went, "Oh," because he had that type of thumb, but we both hate. And we looked at each other and went, "Oh, sweetie, that's from me. I am so sorry. That's a life curse."
You have a thumb type that you hate?
Yes. Well, I don't want to describe it because someone in the audience might have, "Oh, that's my hand. She'll hate my hands." But,
okay, so on the positive side, then what thumb do you love?
We like strong, dexterous thumbs. I think there's a certain amount of bend back that I'm comfortable with and not comfortable with. Like if it goes,
is that too much? I'm giving you the hitchhiker sign. Is that too much? That's too much.
That's okay. That's okay. But don't do anything more, or I'll get the shutters. Just I don't know.
I look at the hands and say, "Oh, look, that person's got a really earthy hand. Isn't it interesting that they, cast them in a role where they're being, a secretary, or in a role where they're being the detective, or in a role where they're being, a professor who's supposed to be airheaded. I'm like, with an earth hand, I'm doubtful that person's going to be as airheaded as this role would demand, but maybe.
But that's what acting's all about. You're supposed to be able to jump into other people's lives and go beyond yourself.
Right, but there's also the element of believability.
That's very true.
And we all tend to pick up, even though we may not understand the psychology, and we might not have like a conscious understanding where you could actually analyze and say, oh, this hand means this, therefore I expect this from this person, or this facial feature means that, so I'm going to be likely to get this type of, focus from this person. We know those things without knowing them. Most of us have unconditional. We have
thoughts and biases in our heads.
Well, we have unconditional or unconscious programming because we're human and we live in this culture. So in this culture, there are certain mannerisms that we'll pick up on, and we're often not even aware why. You don't know why it is that you don't expect that guy to ever be reliable. You don't know. You don't even know him. He's just started working with you.
He just smells like flaky.
Yes, well, and then 6 months later,
the facial structure would be that's what Candace would say.
Yeah, that's her.
Oh, yeah.
I look at him and go, oh, he's got a really air hand. Okay. Well, look.
It's supposed to be air head.
No, look.
Oh
at
no, well,
air hand.
Yeah.
Air hand, and then
but
then look at his facial structure. Oh, yeah.
You must be a delight to be sitting next to in a movie now.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and I feel bad for any girl or friend that Finn brings to the house because she's right away.
Oh yeah,
looking at the whole thing.
Ooh, which one is she? Yes, and I have done. It's true.
I do, and when I'm in movies, I'll see the plants and go, that they're in California right now. Or,
exactly.
That is not California. They are in Vancouver.
That's not Tatooine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
That's indigenous to the red. I don't know.
Red sand under there. That's not how chemistry works.
Right.
So those of you who know KP Kulsa, you want to give them a big thank you from Candace, and especially from Patrick and Sue, because I'm driving them crazy with the beautiful knowledge he shared.
Yep.
And then also I took a class. I had an opportunity to take a class with Maya Toll. It was just a single day
I didn't
workshop.
know that.
Yeah, it was really Mountain Rose Herbs brought her into the Eugene area to do book signing and this class, and I'm not sure what else. My guess is she probably did some shooting of videos, because it seems like most of the herbalists that they bring in, they have stuff like that. But I had the opportunity to go take the class with her, and it was wonderful. It was a really nice time. I enjoyed it.
And how do you spell her last name? I want to look this up.
Toll.
As it sounds, Toll.
Yeah,
Toll. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have something on our show notes about both of those people.
Yeah, she's got a new book that'll be coming out in October, and I believe we will be having an interview with her.
Oh, good.
Coming out this fall.
Very good.
In the process of working all the details, but I'm looking forward to that.
Thanks to our buddy Mason Hutchinson. He's starting to send us little notes about when Mountain Rose brings people into town, because we share the same town, and that means that we get to have time spending with those wonderful people when they come in for the Herbalism something project.
Free Herbalism project,
which is always on Sunday. My day off is not Sunday.
Although, you should really consider changing that.
I did take a day off. I always take 2 days off from Occupy Medical every year. And I had one this last Sunday, and I went boating.
I think you should take one off a month.
Oh, no. What?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
take a Sunday off from Occupy?
You need a break, girl.
To recharge those batteries, girl.
Yeah.
Nope.
We would like you to last longer, more years with Occupy Medical rather than fewer.
I've been at it since 2011.
Yes, we know. And
it's
as your
recharging.
Friends, and that this is a conversation we'll have.
Oh, here we go.
We'll have the table for another day. I don't think we want to bring this one up right now. So no, we're not saying it doesn't fuel you.
It does.
But on another side of it,
throws gas on the fire.
You're doing a lot of
it wears you
things.
down.
You're doing a lot of things with people that are in different places. And as a healer, you take that in.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't heal the healer, things start to appear.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That being
So
said,
we want you to last longer with Occupy Medical. We don't want you to burn out.
Yeah. But there's no way 1 a month. No.
Well, there's always a way. It's just whether or not you want to do it.
Yeah.
I usually have Saturdays off. Almost every single Saturday off every month.
Good.
That's great.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Calm before the storm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I had to have a rest after taking some time with y'all. Because, man, I'm telling you what.
Right.
The sweat on my brow. The tears.
So, yeah, what was that class really about? Did we really say?
The one with Maya,
Yeah.
it was called Earth Medicine 101. And really it was about finding the balance between working with herbal energetics and all of that and reading about them as opposed to actually experiencing them.
Mm-hmm.
And then understanding the science and all of that. It was about being right in that sweet spot in the middle where you combine both pieces and you create opportunities for yourself to have experiences with the plants so that you experience the energetics, you experience, and then science gives you a language for describing what you're experiencing. But energetic and traditional languages also give you a language, and you learn how to piece all of those languages together. But primarily it comes from you have a relationship with the plant.
Yeah.
And because you have that relationship with the plant, you have a better chance of matching that plant with people when it's appropriate with the right people. So lemon balm as a antidepressant herb works for some people, but not for everybody. When you understand the nature of the plant and you have that close connection with lemon balm, then you've got a person who's standing before you saying, boy, I'm, really struggling with, SADS this year, seasonal affective disorder.
Okay.
Symptoms.
I thought you were saying with lowercase SADS. Like, I get SADS too.
Yes. Yeah. No.
Talking about the actual.
But you can look at them and you can say, oh, well, I can see that you're, lacking that upward energy that lemon balm can help bring, for instance.
Right. Liquid smile.
Right. Exactly. Sure. So that one, that you might be like, oh, well, lemon balm is well suited to this person, but there's another person standing right next to them. Oh, they're twin. Look. And that person also is struggling with depression. And one of the key differences may be that the second person has been struggling, also had like a cold, that nasty cold flu thing that went through and, everybody took like a month and a half. And the second person who describes many of the same symptoms might be actually better suited to St. John's wort. And you can look at the surface level and maybe see that, but if you've really got a connection with the plants, then they just show up and it's really clear to you, or it starts to become really clear. So that's, you start changing the formulas you're using or tweaking them to match the people. It's like putting friends together.
Right.
These plants would be good friends.
A show about essential oils because that describes some of the ways that, except in the other way around, that I had with essential oils. It was just, I had them in my life because I felt like they were important and so I should use it. But people were describing like, oh, this one works for this kind of mood and this kind of thing. And I just, And I wasn't getting it. And then I started doing more, like I had to figure out how your nasal passages worked, about the little nerves that hang down that go directly to the brain. I had to learn about how nanoparticles worked. I had to learn about how it physically works. And we had to have the science had to progress enough for me to grasp that. Right. And once I got it, I was like, oh, okay. Then when people would come in and they would say key things like, that matches this because that's how this person is working. This is an important part of either the trauma that they experienced or some of the other stuff that they're struggling with in their life. And this chemical is in this essential oil and it absorbs very quickly. And that's exactly what this person could use. And it was, it's same kind of thing, except with you have your way, Candace, I'm pointing to Candace, so people that can't see through radio waves, of looking and noticing presentations. And then I have this other way of doing it. So it's the same idea, how to speak your own language.
Right.
Yeah. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yep. I've had that with so many other plants that had been presented in more esoteric way. And I'm just scratching my head and going,
well, one of those is our herb of the month, isn't it?
Exactly. Mullein. Yeah. I really struggled with mullein.
Yeah.
But then actually sitting down and analyzing it and reading what we had available. And one thing that I found out, and this was a little daunting, in the 1950s, the estimate was it took 50 years for our medical knowledge to duplicate. That was about what it was. Now, I understand in 2020, it will take 75 days for our medical knowledge to duplicate, to double
in size. So if someone does a study on mullein today, 75 days from now,
you can expect there to be twice as much information about it.
Interesting.
Yep. And that's wonderful because we're finally, some of these things we've been using as herbalists for a long time and just going, well, it works because it works. It works, I guess. Now we're going to have far more buy-in and more people being able to use it and use it for other conditions that we didn't even understand, or not use it poorly for things because now we understand it better. So it's exciting at the same time. Like I already know I never keep up. I already know every day of my life, no matter how much I study, I will always be outdated.
Right.
I'm used to being just, you don't know, Sue. I'm just used to that being my mantra. But now it's going to be like, oh, okay, whatever, which is not discouraging. It's encouraging to find out more.
Yeah.
It's another bucket of gas on that fire in my brain. But yeah, oh Lord, here we go. But yeah, mullein.
Yeah.
So you've been looking at mullein. I mean, it's been blooming in our area.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's the one with the purple flowers and hairy leaves, right?
It is.
The flowers are not so.
You just
purple.
said that to screw with me, right?
Yeah. I remember. I mean, we have it at the house. I was like, aren't those ones with purple flowers and hairy leaves?
No, actually, I don't think we have any mullein. Well, if we have mullein, it's first year mullein because I threw seeds out.
It does have a fuzzy leaf.
No, that's something else. What is it? That's the purple flowers with the fuzzy leaves.
Are you thinking about one of the mints?
No.
You're not. Are you thinking about
foxglove?
No.
Sweet peas?
No, it was an herb that you particularly like, and I'm trying to remember the name of it now.
Oh, well,
it's mucilaginous, and it's grows at our house pretty frequently.
Marshmallow?
No, I'll have to point out.
Yeah, but our marshmallow, it doesn't have purple.
It can in different soils.
No, this is you talked about this herb a ton, and I can't. It's not the comfrey. It's not skullcap. I mean, it's
talking about borage.
There you go.
Borage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lovely. It does. Yeah, I think of them as more blue.
Probably the anti-mullein. I mean, I'm sorry, guys.
It's
don't
nice
know my plants. I mean,
But you got you in your head. You had a plant that you noticed, and many years ago, plants were not in your notice.
Well, that is
so
true.
that's great.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, it was more like, is this a weed? Do I have to pull it out, or have to keep it?
Yeah. Don't touch my weeds.
I did some incidental gardening the other day. And,
so disappointed.
So you do some gardening the other day. So I go down this path, and I'm like, oh. Well, the mint is coming back in. Well, we spent a lot of time eradicating the mint from this area.
Yeah.
I have a few moments. I shall purge this area of the mint. 60 seconds of spontaneous gardening. And I threw it in a big pile of mint, and I threw it over on the side where I knew we'd be composting it later. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, I did my good deed for the day. Candace is going to be so happy because I cleared out the mint.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
Day before that, we got some tomatoes from the community supported agriculture thing that we're doing. So we'd gotten a box of fruits and vegetables, and there were some tomatoes in there. I was super excited because I am really a very poor gardener, and I didn't even try tomatoes this year because they never turn into anything. Mm-hmm. And so, I'd cut up one of the tomatoes, and I had added mint and some goat cheese, and I had a Walla Walla onion, so I cut a little bit of that up.
Oh, that's delightful.
It was a lovely, delightful salad. Yeah, it was really
refreshing for a hot day.
Yes, and I used a big handful of mint and a small amount of sage just to add that little bit of bitter to
savory,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was wonderful. So that was on Wednesday. On Thursday, yoga day, I was like, oh, I'll get done with yoga. I'll go out. I'll harvest some more of that mint because the main mint patch is completely flowered. And at this time of year, the bees are loving it.
Yes.
So I typically let it flower and let it
you're
stay.
wildlife friendly.
Yeah. So, but this little second bit that had shown up, I was like, well, because those guys came in, I'll hack those back and then I'll rip them out at the end of the season. I won't let them flower because I let the big patch go. So the big patch is right there buzzing with bees. And my yoga therapist and I come out and I'm like, hey, do you want some mint? I'll, let's grab you some because
it's already been harvested.
Yeah. And look, it's all gone. Great.
I never garden. Okay.
So angry.
I never stop.
You know why.
I never stop and go, I think I'll help Candace out here.
So my second mint and tomato salad didn't happen. And my yoga therapist did not get mint.
Well, I said there was a pile. It was just a fresh pile right there.
Fresh
wilted. I saw the couple of straggly bits that were still on the ground. They had been out in the blazing heat for 2 hours.
It was a bundle of mint next to the bags
but
of
the
sand.
straggly bits were out in the heat for 2 hours.
Sad.
And he threw the pile over by the sand. I'm like, it's going to be in crap shape.
Sorry,
you didn't even look. Now I know you didn't.
There
even
was
look.
no essential oils left because they'd cooked off. It was a hot day.
I think the deep undercore layers of that would have been fine. But
the ones in the sand.
In the center.
She already had her sads.
Yeah, so whatever.
There were already sads.
So
Patrick's big gardening experience during hiatus was throwing out the mint he shouldn't have touched. No, he did not. He did not harvest the wild lettuce that's going to seed in the front yard and needs to get pulled out.
Oh,
no,
you want that out?
He did not take care of that.
It's just in the wrong place.
I do not need any more of that. I've had so much of that I've ripped out because it goes to seed and it
goes everywhere because of the composite. Sure.
Yes. And he didn't pull out any of the thistles from the front yard.
What thistle?
All the thistles that I pulled out.
Is it Canada thistle?
Both of these plants that you were talking about need and require gloves to remove.
You're right. And if you're just walking by.
Right. Mint doesn't. So
he also did not do anything to help with the grapevines in front that are always overgrowing. He didn't do anything there.
Again, I was on my way out like you do. Because this is how Candace gardens. She walks by, I see a thing, I'll pick it up. She picks it up. No, she does. Throws it on the trail.
He ignored all of the grass that was growing into the path. And he also ignored the false dandelions growing into the path.
Let me ask you this.
And the thistles.
Because mint is voracious and it needs to be quelched wherever you're going to have it.
If I'm going to quelch anything, it'll be that grass.
Let me ask you this, Patrick. Mm-hmm. After you were done with the mint patch, did you find that working with that mint had any change in your mood?
No, not really.
No.
I mean, I like the smell of it on my hands. I like mint. Mint and I have I can grow mint.
Yeah.
Mint like nobody's business. I can grow mint.
Okay.
But no,
it doesn't uplift or.
No, I was in a hurry. I mean, I just thought I was helping out. And so I'm going to do it. And that's did you pull my mint? Like, yeah. I can't believe. I'm like, really? That mint patch was there for years and you never. Oh my God.
Never did. Classic timing.
That's all right. It's fine. I can't remember what I ate. I did something.
No, not mint.
That night.
Well, you're such a good cook, Candace. You can do a lot with very little. I've seen you just.
Yep. That's true.
Put little pieces together. That's one thing about coming to the Hunter household is both Patrick and Candace are really good cooks, and they do. You prepare to be pampered. You can't just have a cup of coffee. I'm sitting here with gas station coffee, and Patrick's curling his lips every time he looks over at it. Yes. It's like,
hey,
with that vile stuff.
No,
because you're a good cook.
To be fair, the coffee at Pacific Northwest gas stations in general is way better than anything you'll find east of the Cascades.
That's very true.
Yes.
I mean,
anywhere.
Gas station coffee there is rot gut. It's horrible. It makes me sick every time.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
But here, it's like you walk in, there's like 5 different varieties and a single origin.
Right.
Like, really? Wow.
That's very true.
Yeah, that's true.
Much better than the military coffee.
Right. Yeah. It's not,
sure.
And nothing against Arco, but it's not Arco. It's not Folgers. It's not,
it's just usually some kind of like Cafe Mam or some other local
Or it's even
or
Boyd's
something.
coffee out of Idaho, which is fine. I
Yeah.
mean,
It actually comes from a coffee plant,
Yeah.
as opposed to recycled plastic, which I swear is military coffee.
Yeah.
And people in the military, they are just like going, yep,
Yep.
absolutely.
It is.
That's where do you think oil changes go?
That's how you make it.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
Recycling.
I think the only thing that I can think of other than the mint,
The mint debacle.
the mint molestation, it would be for me, end of June, July, there's a lot of summer projects going on, a lot of activities that generally happen. And that's when injuries happen, like burns, skin burns.
Oh, so true.
Scratches, like cuts.
Yeah.
I find myself using a lot of herbal remedies for most of that. Like Finn had, our son went out and he was working, doing labor and he was running a weed whacker all day.
Oh, okay.
And he came home and he was you could just see he was favoring one side because he had strapped the weed whacker, with the shoulder strap all day on one side.
Right.
And 8 hours of vibration and
that's going to hurt even a young buck like him.
That's going to hurt.
Yeah.
And he was in pain.
Aww.
So, we got out our Dragon's Kiss and or the Tiger Balm that we've made.
The
here.
handmade one that you have on the recipe on the website.
Yeah. And I started working that. He wasn't happy with me, but I started working that into that muscle to do that. And then, obviously told him, okay, till tomorrow when you're running that thing, switch it. And they're designed to be ambidextrous. So put an hour here and an hour there, hour here, an hour there. Because you don't want to look like a hunchback by the end of the summer.
Right.
Did he follow your advice, even though you're a parent?
I don't know if he did because he didn't say, but that's what kids are like. So, but we recently had a sunburn fiasco. We went out tubing all day on the Mackenzie, and I know I burn, so I buy the most expensive, best stuff I can, the most waterproof sunscreen I can put on me, and I lather up before we go out. I'm just coated, and I got my hat on with the brim, and on the river I'll wear a shirt, and Finn followed my lead, and I know he swears he did his feet. But the sunburn would indicate that he never reapplied.
Right.
So he had burned himself really bad on the tops of his feet. And, this job that he has is a labor job. So the next day he has to put work boots on. He couldn't even get out of bed.
Right.
So
I felt for him.
We started doing some, there was some witch hazel and then I think Candace
sunburn
put
soother.
The sunburn soother and then a couple other things to help him, deal with that. But aside from that, it's just, through the summer, having the ability to have some herbal sprays, light cuts, put some lavender in it. And, I watch my friends say, where's my Neosporin? Which just put a couple drops of lavender and you're good to go.
You don't need triple antibiotic. In fact, in the medical community, people are asking you, please don't use
Please don't,
yeah.
right. And, I recently heard a TED Talk about every time that you use a antibiotic right now,
a fairy loses its wings.
Well, essentially what you're actually doing is if you really don't need it, you may be taking it from somebody else, and not because you're taking it because they don't have enough supply. It's MRSA, that because that whatever you're trying
antibiotic resistance.
That may be the one that does it. You never know, and that's the problem. And there's a lot of countries that are way over prescribing it. The U.S. is way down on it, but developing countries are just it's candy.
Yeah,
take these and these, and they're not even thinking about the ramifications of that. So,
and the bacterial family is diverse. I know the full spectrum. When you're talking about gram-negative and gram-positive, there's a lot of things in the herbal world that are really great at far more sweeping antibacterial properties. But for the medicines that we have, they are pulling out one constituent and putting that in there. In this case, they're putting out one for 3 particular types and putting in one blend, and that means that it gives the bacterial families a chance to multiply and mutate against that. And mutations are natural. I had a conversation with somebody that was like, well, I see more mutations and maybe that's the radioactive. Like, nope, that's just how evolution works. If it wasn't for mutations, we wouldn't be alive today.
Right.
We wouldn't have life on this planet.
Right.
Diversity is perfectly okay.
Yeah.
So that's why one of the reasons why we love the botanical medicines, because they keep changing, constantly change in response to the environment that we also live in. Yeah. So it's yay, botanicals.
Yes.
So your son, did he use aloe for his feet?
We didn't have aloe on hand.
Okay.
We had to actually go out. Yesterday, we actually went out and got some actual medicine, Solocane,
which has got lidocaine in it.
Right,
And,
painkiller.
and this one had aloe.
And this one had aloe.
Okay.
As well. So aloe did get on, but it wasn't like, we had that one time where you guys harvested the aloe.
Yes, and it was fresh.
We didn't have that. Yeah, we had none of that. So
none of that. I used plantain because it's what I had.
Oh, plantain is wonderful.
And I actually used plantain tincture rather than.
Internally, or you put it in a spray?
Both. Actually, I had him put it on topically, and then I also had him take it internally. And calendula was another one that we used.
Yes, calendula is fabulous.
Yeah.
Yep. Man, I'm a big fan of calendula. Every summer, just have to have calendula available.
Yeah. And honestly, the plantain topically was sort of like a Hail Mary kind of thing, because I was like, I got calendula, so I can put that on there, but I don't have aloe. I didn't even have any like creosote or anything like that. That was just.
Did you run out of the Alaria that
I have it in dried form, but I didn't have anything that was already in a form that he could put on his feet easily.
I get you.
So I was just like, well, it's 7:00 in the morning and I'm trying to come up with something and I'm friggin' tired.
Yeah.
Look, I do have plantain. Let's try that. And I put some willow with it.
Oh, for the pain.
For the pain.
Willow bark. Sure. Yeah. Good idea. Mm-hmm.
So I had.
Listen to the smarts here, folks.
Yeah. So I put those two together and I told him to use it topically and internally.
Mm-hmm.
And then put his feet up the wall so the blood's not pulsing in his feet.
It, yeah. Poor little thing.
And I said, now don't fall asleep this way because you'll have two problems.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Smart. Put them above his head.
He did go to work today. So that was a big move. So yeah, I know he's still sore. And he told me I got 2 pairs of socks on today. And is that helping? He said, yeah, but my boots are really tight.
Yeah. Well, I hope for the best for him.
Yep.
When we were talking about it, when you don't have insurance typically, and you don't have these things, and you don't get sick leave, and you don't get paid time off for
you have insurance,
you live in America.
You still have to push through to make the money. The money's not going to stop. The things you need to pay for aren't going to stop. And he's committed himself to a few things which are going to require payments. And we told him this. He needs to have a job. So when he wasn't able to attend a job just recently because of he wasn't feeling well, we're like, well, that kind of cost you some money there, friend.
Yeah.
And
it's learning that's a big adult lesson.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that, and we're here to, help him learn that, but also so that he's still going to have clothes. He's still going to have food. He's still going to have a shelter. I mean, none of that'll change right now. But
you have to learn to understand
that your paycheck is going to be less now substantially because of the, taking that. So I know you were not feeling well, but could you have pushed it? Could you have maybe had been cleared up by about 2 hours into work? Because sometimes that happens. Sometimes I wake up and I feel, oh God, but I still have responsibilities. I still go drink a little extra water and go. Yeah. And then if I am bad at noon, I'll come back. I mean, okay, it wasn't the way I slept.
And that's the struggle with being young and inexperienced. Is just like you were saying before about that earth class that you took with Maya. I apologize, Maya. You have things that you learn in a book, and then there are things that you learn from experience. And putting those things together for teenagers, we're the book. The parents were the book. So we're telling them these things, but they don't have the life experience to put it together. So it just seems like fantasy land. And I have books that I've read and respected, but it doesn't really become real unless I use it.
Right.
And teenagers just don't have the physical time that they've gone through to have that be real for them.
Yep.
Right.
And it will eventually. There are things that my mom told me long time ago, and it wasn't until I was in my 30s that I finally did it. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll give this a try. Might as well. Mom might be right.
And then
lo and behold. Yeah, she's been wrong about things before, and goodness knows, 16-year-old me was there to remind her.
Right.
But she's also been right about things. And bless her soul, she's such a patient woman.
That's that old saying, right? Mom, Dad, how'd you guys get so smart? And they usually tell you that when they're 25 or 30.
Right. Yeah.
You guys get to be so smart. You guys know all this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we hadn't
because
changed.
we used to be stupid.
Yeah, because we used to be stupid, and we've improved the last 5 years.
Yeah. We didn't listen to our parents either. Yeah.
Well, we have a big thing to announce.
Yes, we do.
So we have the winners.
Contest winners. Who do we have? Who won?
Okay, so we had two parts to the contest. The one part of the contest was anyone that signed up to be a member in the month of July would be entered into a drawing for the book. And the second part of it was, we look back at all the current members.
Anyone who was a member previous to July 1st.
And it's current. It's a current member.
Current members, of the Herbal Nerd Society.
And we picked one from that bunch. So the winners of the Grow Your Own Herbal Remedies by Maria No Groves plus bonus online material is Fallon Alvarez.
Oh, what a wonderful name.
Yes, and he was a new member in July.
Yay, thank you. Welcome.
And then our existing member, who also wins the Grow Your Own Herbal Remedies, is Heidi Sabatic.
Aww.
We will be emailing you both today or tomorrow to get your addresses so we can ship you out the book.
Yay. Yes. Thank you.
And that does include, the online access to the other chapters that could not be.
She has some bonus material online.
Right.
And then there's also a book plate signed by Maria for each book.
Yep. They're autographed as well. So we hope
got to witness it.
Both enjoy that, or enjoy those books and get a lot of information on them. And then once you get them, it'd be great if you could, I don't know, take a selfie with them and put it up on the Practical Herbalist Instagram page or Facebook and just say, hey, this is our book.
Yeah, tag us at the Practical Herbalist.
Yep. And then, also, if I don't know what Maria No Groves' tag is, but
tag her too.
Yeah, tag her too. There you go. Tag her too. And thank you, Maria.
That would be super nice. Yes, thank you, Maria. But I would call her more than just a herbal buddy of ours. I'll call her a friend now because we've known her for so long.
Yeah,
and she is a delight.
She is an absolute
which you
delight.
See in her writing.
Yeah. Yes, and in the classes she teaches, she's incredibly knowledgeable, and she's just the sweetest thing.
Yep. We're fans, definitely.
As they say in the YouTuber world, no like and subscribe.
Yes, like and subscribe.
What is it? Is it no like and subscribe? Like and subscribe at the links below.
Yeah. So we're pointing.
Yeah, they're always pointing down.
Yeah.
Reviews are great. The more that we get on iTunes, the more that people listen to us, and that's the biggest thing to help bring out herbalism and herbs to people. Herbal Nerd Society, again, thank you very much. We enjoy having you as members and providing this podcast along with other parts of our website because of you. And you're on Facebook. We're there as well. We have almost 9,000 followers, I think, now.
On Facebook, going on 10,000.
Yeah.
And you start conversations there. I know Sue monitors that a lot more than I do. So enjoy there. Again, we're on Instagram at The Practical Herbalist, I believe. Right?
And Candace, you've been monitoring the Instagram.
Yes.
Right.
Which is great.
So with that, guys,
put an herb on it.
The statements made about herbs and products on this podcast have not been evaluated by the United States Food and Drug Administration, FDA, and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. All information provided on this podcast or any affiliated websites is for informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for advice from your physician or other healthcare professional. You should not use the information on this podcast and its affiliated websites for a diagnosis or treatment of any health problem. Always consult with a healthcare professional before starting any new vitamins, supplements, diet, or exercise program before taking any medication, or if you have or suspect you might have a health problem. Any testimonials, questions, or case studies